Hi everyone, my name is Blue and today I will show you how to make vegan or plant-based sarma. So I come from Serbia and I gotta say that last week was the first time I made sarma and it was delicious. I made a meat version of sarma, which was based on my mom's recipe, and this is the recipe I'm going to be using today. But then I also made a vegan version of sarma with vegan meat. So this time I will use the vegan meat. But stay tuned, in one of the next videos I will probably use some veggies as a replacement for meat. So I have to think of the recipe. I'm not a really good cook. So for now, I only want to show what I think tastes really good. So I made two versions of sarma for my boyfriend, the meat version, and I made an equivalent based on that recipe, just slightly tweaked with some vegan stuff, for example, a replacement for meat or a replacement for bacon. So I made it and I was like, I can't believe this vegan version is so tasty. It really reminds me of what sarma used to taste like. And I really want to share this very easy recipe for sarma. You will love it. So if you're ready, let's get started. So these are all the ingredients you're going to need. The first one is kiseli kupus or pickled cabbage, and you can find it in a local Turkish store. Then vegan meat of your choice. Then smoked tofu. This is going to act as a replacement for bacon in sarma. Then there's flour, rice, oil. I'm using sunflower seed oil, pepper, salt, vegeta or dried veggies, paprika, but sweet paprika, 1 medium-sized onion, and 2 cloves of garlic. So the first step is to make the stuffing for sarma. So that's the part with the rice and meat and other spices. So what I'm going to do is to cut 1 onion into small pieces. That depends on you, how small or big you want them. And then I'm going to put that on the side. Then chop 2 cloves of garlic and move on to other things. Okay, let's just put everything in one bowl. So for the original recipe, you would usually use meat, and that would be pork meat. However, you can make sarma with whichever meat you want, usually not chicken meat, but you can maybe mix different types of meat. In this case, I will be using vegan meat. It's basically minced meat, and it serves as a replacement. I will be using 400 grams of meat, so 200 and 200. And on that, you should add 2 to 3 cups of rice. This depends on the quantity of rice you want. So if you want your sarma to have a lot of rice, if you want it to be more meaty, that depends on you. I say test it out and then you'll figure it out on the way. But on this quantity, I will use 2 cups of rice. Usually some short grain rice would do, but any type of rice is okay. Then you should add 1 teaspoon of vegeta, which is basically your veggie broth or like veggie powder, which I have over here. But I'm sure if you go to any local Turkish store, you will probably find some Serbian products and vegeta. I'm going to add another teaspoon of paprika. This should be sweet paprika, so not chili. And usually we call this aleva paprika in Serbia because there's a brand aleva paprika. Okay, I probably added a bit more, but that's fine. I like paprika. And then you add some salt and pepper, and I don't really have the exact measurements for that. I think you should try to mix everything up and spice it as you go and taste it. Unfortunately, that's the only way how I can tell you. I don't want it to be too hot, too spicy, so I don't add a lot of pepper, but I will probably add a lot of salt. By the way, don't worry if you think it's not enough seasoning, it's not enough spices. You can always add this towards the end, so just add as much as you feel is enough right now, and then you can taste the liquid and see if you need a bit more salt or some other seasoning. Okay, I'm gonna say that this is enough, and now I will mix this all together with my hands. You don't want to press too much because you still want it to have a bit of air, so that's why I use fingers, because the meat can go through my fingers. There you go, it should look something like this. And now you're gonna use this to stuff your sarmas or cabbage leaves. You can find pickled cabbage leaves almost anywhere in Serbia, and if you're in some other country, then go to a Turkish store and find them. You will definitely find something, I swear. And there are several ways how you can wrap sarmas. I will use only one way, and this is because it's so much easier for beginners of wrapping sarma. But make sure to check the internet because there's many other ways, so there's no wrong way to do it. Okay, so this is our setup. This is our cabbage, this is the mixture, and this is my pot. I will basically take a leaf, cut this part here, which is the thicker part, because it's very difficult to chew, and then I will wrap my sarma and then put it in the pot, and that's basically it. This is how much I put. The size of sarma depends on you. Again, this is a preference, personal choice, but just make sure that whatever you put is going to probably double in size. Well, not double, but almost, because there's rice inside, and rice is going to absorb the liquid. Then what I do is I wrap one part, I wrap the other side, and then I just go around. This is the easiest way for me to make sarma. There you go. You can stack them like this, horizontally or vertically. I prefer vertical, but you can do whatever you want. And let's continue. Okay, you can see that it's a mess, but basically what happened is this. So I stacked them all right next to each other. There's still quite a lot more, so what I'm gonna do, because this pot is not high enough, I'm basically gonna stack them horizontally. Yeah, and then you see there's still some holes in here. I'm gonna use them to put my smoked tofu. If you are not a vegan, that usually what you use in sarmas is bacon or anything that is smoked, because that's gonna give that aroma, like smoked aroma of sarma. That's why it's so specific. I'm not gonna take the whole thing, just maybe half of it, and half of it I'm gonna use for probably some other dish or some sandwiches. Okay, that took a lot of my time because I'm just learning how to do these things, so I'm very slow. What you want to do right now is cover sarmas with water, so completely cover them so that the rice can actually absorb all the water and they can cook. And you're gonna let them cook, or actually reach the point of boiling, then simmer for 1.5 hours, if not 2 hours. The longer the better. So this is my sarma. It's covered with water. It's not completely because it's floating a bit. Don't worry about that. Just use the lid and everything will be fine. The rice will absorb all the water and you will get a perfectly tasty, delicious sarma. So as you can see, it has reached the point of boiling. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm going to cover it with a lid and I'm going to lower the temperature. After sarma has been on the stove for around 1 hour and a half, then I'm going to prepare my zaprška. And what zaprška actually is basically you're going to fry oil with some flour and then add some paprika and you're going to fry it a bit and that's going to give it a specific taste and also creamy texture to sarma. It's not going to be as liquidy and soupy as it is right now. And in this case, I added 3 to 4 tablespoons of oil, 2 tablespoons of flour, and then 1 teaspoon of paprika. You first fry oil with flour for a minute or two until it gets that a bit yellowish color, and then you add paprika, and then you have your zaprška.